Brine shrimp, also known as Archemia salina, are tiny crustaceans that inhabit saltwater bodies, such as lakes and ponds. These fascinating creatures have captured the attention of scientists and aquarium enthusiasts alike due to their unique characteristics. These microorganisms became popular around the late 1950s by Harold von Braunhut. He was an inventor greatly known for inventing silly things such as invisible goldfish and X-ray specks. However, perhaps Braunhut's greatest scheme was the advertisement of sea monkeys. But what most of the public did not know was that sea monkeys existed long before Braunhut mass distributed them. In fact, these microscopic creatures have a more important use in society. The first thing that comes to mind when thinking about brine shrimp is fish. These organisms are used to feed many species of fish, mainly because they are a great source of protein. Protein is a key factor in fish diets. Protein provides amino acids needed for energy and, most importantly, growth. Although brine shrimp are more important in fish consumption, brine shrimp eggs, also known as cysts, have the potential to be deadly due to the fact that they can build up in fish and block the intestinal tract. Therefore, it is important that cysts are hatched before feeding them to fish, but in order to get them to hatch, cryptobiosis must be stopped. Cryptobiosis is the process in which cysts remain dormant until reactivated by salt water. This means that the organism is not able to develop, grow, or even reproduce. Salt water causes cryptobiosis to cease, and the egg continues to develop into anoply, which could then be fed to fish. The following experiment was designed to test which type of salt is best to break cryptobiosis and have a greater hatch success. During the course of research, 8 different salts were used. Each of these salts were different. Sea salt is made up of sodium chloride and is not greatly processed. Non-iodized salt is fine and is also composed of sodium chloride. However, this salt is processed, which adds additives such as silicon dioxide and other anti-caking agents. Iodized salt contains sodium iodide instead of chloride. Pink Himalayan salt contains less sodium and more minerals, and it is also pink because of the iron it contains. Pickling salt is a pure sodium chloride. This means that it contains no additives such as anti-caking agents. Substitute salt and no-salt Tony Chachere's are both composed of potassium iodide instead of sodium. Regular Tony Chachere's is composed of sodium iodide as well as dehydrated herbs and vegetables such as onions and garlic. Each salt solution was made by mixing 60 grams of salt with 2 liters of deionized water and mixing thoroughly. 20 brine shrimp were placed in a small dish and 25 milliliters of the respective salt solution was added to it. This was done twice for each salt solution. Over the span of a week, the brine shrimp were observed for signs of hatch success. The sample that showed the greatest hatch success was the sea salt solution. Sea salt produced a total of 34 eggs hatched out of 40. Non-iodized salt caused 16 hatched eggs out of 40. The salt mixture containing pink Himalayan salt produced a total of 5. Only 7 of the 40 cysts were observed in the Tony's solution, and there was no successful hatching observed in iodized salt, pickling salt, substitute salt, and no Tony Chachere's. It is important to know that sea salt is the best salt to break cryptobiosis. Brine shrimp are just a step above the bottom of the food chain. At the bottom of the food chain is algae, which is what brine shrimp eat. They are then fed to fish, which is not only a food source for humans, but a food source for other organisms consumed by individuals as well. If cryptobiosis is not ceased in cysts, then it will affect the growth and development of many fish that is consumed by the general population, which will ultimately affect every organism that rely on fish for nourishment. Despite their small size, brine shrimp have a big impact on the ecosystem they inhabit. Brine shrimp may be small in size, but they pack a big punch when it comes to their unique characteristics. Whether you're interested in cultivating them for scientific research or raising them as live food for your pets, or even hatching them to keep as pets yourself, These tiny creatures are important for all aspects of life.